What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to talk about draft prospect Tuli Tuipulotu. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for your continued support, continuing to share out my content on all the social media platforms. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. And if you would like to donate to my channel, you can also donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So first off, this draft prospect was actually recommended to me by one of my subscribers, Liquors with Lenore. So shouts out to him for giving me this draft prospect to take a look at. He actually left a comment in my last video, and that's why I advise each and every one of you guys, if you guys would like me to look at another draft prospect, definitely drop that information in the comment section. But with that being said, Tuli Tuipulotu did play his college football at USC. He actually goes about 6'4", 290 pounds. And actually, he was a pleasant surprise to me. He is my favorite draft prospect that I've covered so far this offseason. I do think that he will be worth that number 8 pick for our Atlanta Falcons if the Falcons decide to take a defensive lineman in the first round of this draft. They possibly could trade down because I haven't seen Tuipulotu's name like in the top 10 or even in the top 25 when I've looked at the mock drafts. But I definitely think that he has the skill set to definitely be one of those guys that could turn heads at the combine, and definitely could be a guy when you turn on his tape, he's a game wrecker. He's a monster. He's one of those guys that I definitely think could come in and have instant impact on our Atlanta Falcons. USC used him pretty much everywhere on their defensive line. They lined him up with the 3 tech. They lined him up on the outside at defensive end mainly. But he's a guy that also rushed with his hand in the dirt, and he rushed from a 2-point stance, which to me was really impressive at his size for him to be able to rush in a 2-point stance and come off the edge. Another thing that I noticed with him is he's more polished than a lot of the guys that I've looked at. Other than Myles Murphy, to me, he's the most polished defensive lineman that I've seen. And I do think that he'll have instant impact if he were to come to the Falcons as far as being able to rush the passer. Has very violent hands, very good at using rip moves and things of that nature, good at splitting double teams. And he's just really good and dominant, not only in rushing the passer, but he was really dominant in stopping the run. And that's something that I really liked when I viewed his tape. I do think that he would fit in this Ryan Nielsen scheme because he likes bigger defensive ends when he was in New Orleans. And this guy's, like I mentioned, 6'4", 290 pounds. So he's not the most bendy and wiry guy. A lot of the pass rushers nowadays are kind of like wiry and bendy and can, bend the edge. But this guy, he's not as bendy, but he's really strong. He's able to use speed to power, and he has a lot of pass rush moves. So that's what I really liked about when I viewed his tape. My comp or comparison for him would be Trey Hendrickson, the former New Orleans Saints defensive end, now plays with the Cincinnati Bengals. That's who his game reminds me of. He's not a guy that's going to have a whole lot of flash as far as he's not the fastest guy. He's not the most freakish athlete, but he's a guy that can get the job done, similar to a former Falcon, Patrick Kearney, that used to play with our Atlanta Falcons. He's just one of those guys that's kind of plain Jane. He doesn't, look like a guy that's going to be able to rush the passer because he's not, like I said, the most twitchy or bendy, which most defensive linemen nowadays in today's NFL are the bendy, athletic type guys. But he's one of those guys that kind of will go under the radar because he doesn't look like a guy that will rush the passer as well as some of the guys that are more bendy and, the freakish athlete. But when I viewed his tape, he was a guy that was getting after it, man. He was very good. Like I said, being disruptive, whether he was lined up in the middle, whether he was lined up on the outside, he was wreaking havoc on the quarterback. He was wreaking havoc on the backfield. He was collapsing the pocket. And I definitely think that that's something that will bode well for this Atlanta Falcons defense. Another thing that I thought that was interesting and kind of proved that even though he isn't the smaller, quicker, bendy athlete, a wiry type athlete, USC used him in stunts and things of that nature. So they used him as kind of like a stand-up. At certain times, he was almost as if he was a stand-up linebacker, where he was just, shooting gaps and things of that nature on the defensive line. So I thought that was very interesting for his size, for him to have the athleticism to be able to stand up almost as if he was a linebacker in space, to be able to shoot gaps and things of that nature in their stunts on the USC defensive line. So I definitely think this kid is kind of going under the radar. A lot of people is not talking about him, but I definitely think that he would be a guy that, if I were the Atlanta Falcons, I definitely would take a look at him. He definitely shot up my draft board, and I definitely think that he's a guy that the Falcons should take a look at, and I definitely think that he would be a dominant defensive player, definitely be an impact player for this Atlanta Falcons defense immediately. So shouts out to Liquors with Lenore for giving me this draft prospect, Tuli Tuipulotu. I definitely suggest you guys go check him out. And if you guys have any other prospects you guys would like me to check out, definitely send me those. I have a couple more videos coming for you guys. But as always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.